Should estate agents charge more for their services? Today I'm joined by Ben G, who is the boss man of Hatton Home Estate Agents, a 5-branch network that are in the M4 corridor. Ben, with your Hatton Home hat on, pardon the pun, do we charge enough, and how do we charge more?
As an industry, we don't charge enough. And unfortunately, whereas it used to be a few that are charging too little, it's now the majority, in my opinion.
Why is that? What's the fault?
Because they don't know how to, basically, it's because they don't know how to go into evaluation and show their true worth. So the only thing they believe they have in their arsenal is fee.
Isn't it interesting that the survey, the home seller survey, which is done by the Property Academy each year at the Best Estate Agency Guide, has asked constantly every single year 10,000 vendors, how did you choose your estate agent? And the figure of 16% of estate agents choose on fee has never changed.
No.
So only 1 in 6 will base it on fee. But why do we as an industry think everyone's based on fee?
No idea. Because I think if you're not trained well to show your value, then you think it's all about cost.
Yeah.
And if that's the only thing that if you don't know how to sell your value, then the only thing you've got in your arsenal is to say, well, how much are they doing if I do it for less? And it's a race to the bottom. If you never, this is a bit controversial, and I do raise eyebrows in my own team when I say it, but they get it. You never lose a valuation or fee. You lose it because they didn't want to instruct you, because they didn't think you were going to do the best job, and you didn't think you were getting the best price.
You didn't prove your worth. Yeah. Now everyone blames purple bricks, but would it surprise you that I've got, irrefutable proof that it was nothing to do with purple bricks?
It's nothing to do with purple bricks. It's to do with core mainstream, big corporate independent, any type of agency who are going out there and charging 0.8 or 1%. It's just ridiculous. Just
to get the fees.
Just to get it in the drawer. We don't do that. We've raised our fees over the last 18 months.
The easiest way to get more money into an estate agency is to increase your fees and be prepared to walk away from it.
Yep.
But why are estate agents so fearful of the rejection, of losing it? It like screws them up.
Yeah, I think one of it is this fight, this competition that's instilled into us. You've got to go out there and win the instruction. You've got to get it at all costs. You've got to beat the competition. You've got to get it at all costs. Whereas if you go into evaluation with the pure intention of making sure that you're selling your services and how you're going to do the best job for that client, if you focus on that, you'll get the instruction anyway. In fact, you should be winning the instruction before you even get to the appointment. But that's a completely different story. But if you just stop worrying about talking about fee and stop. I speak to people who say, "Oh, I never mention the fee." What do you mean you never mention the fee? You can't walk out of somewhere without somebody knowing how much you're going to charge them for doing something. The problem is that you don't mention the fee because you're not confident in what you said for the previous hour.
Is that a culture thing? Is that a training and development thing?
It's a training and development thing. It's because it's what's been seen before. Estate agency on a hierarchy. Your manager, you learn from your manager, who learned from his manager, who learned from their manager, who learned from her manager. And if nothing ever changed along that little cycle, everybody will keep doing the same thing. And there's no need. It's actually, as you said about the survey, it's not what people want. People want a service. Why do you think people pay £5 to get a McDonald's delivered by Deliveroo, who they pay an extra £5 delivery charge and it comes cold? Because they want the service of having it delivered. People will pay for service now, and they'll pay for a decent communication, and they'll pay for a decent understanding of what they want.
So how do you train your valuers, putting aside you win it before you even get through there, how do you train your valuers to ensure that they are worth what they're prepared to pay?
You have to spend time with them, making sure they understand your proposition. If you go to a lot of estate agents, not all, but a lot of estate agents, say, why do you charge what you do and what does the customer get for it? They might list 5 things, but there's probably 30 things you do. You might have to pick which 6 you use in the valuation, but they've got to understand what your proposition is as a business. Why should that client use us? How are we going to get them the best money? How are we going to market their property effectively? How are we going to communicate? And if they don't actually know it, because they've never been told anything other than to go out with the best price guide, tell them the price, say, isn't this nice, as you look at their new bathroom, and then give them a fee. That's the problem. We don't teach enough about how to value a property.
Do you think it's not necessarily valuing the property, it's sales psychology, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The valuation, I should say, the valuation appointment.
See, nowadays there's software out there that proves that you actually get more for the house than your competitors. There's software out there that shows that you actually, you know, if you put 100 houses on the market, you'll get 72 shifted, and your competitor will do 52, which is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you can't fudge the figures.
No, it's something that should be used as part of a bigger pitch.
But then you should also use the emotional side, because humans also make decisions first with emotion, then you have logic to back it up. Do you think we're really bad at telling stories and getting emotional buy-in?
I think we're really bad at finding out what's going to make somebody tick. I think we're very bad sometimes at asking the question about why they're moving, what's important to them in an agent, what's driving their move. Because you can bleat on otherwise telling the best story in the world about how you're going to sell it the quickest out of any other agent in the town, when actually speed isn't important to them.
So do you think that's because we're too transactional in our approach and we should be more relationship based?
Yes. Every single transaction we do is a relationship.
Would it surprise you that only 1 in 8 sellers go back to the agent they bought their house off, even though half the properties that have sold in the last year, they've only been in the house just over 6 years?
It doesn't surprise me, but it's a travesty, because it's crazy.
What would your final message be to agents wanting to change that in their branch?
Think about what your business offers that client and make sure you know it, so that you can talk about it to somebody and say to them, which means what? We do this, which means this to you. We do this, which means this to you. And we do this, which means this to you. Tell them the feature and the benefit, not just the feature.
Ben, thank you for your time today.
Pleasure.